that
Anva?
he no yeah Anva. Well,
The
no, and Farsight.
ethereal.
No. Farsight got away with it. Farsight got away with it because he got all of his ethereals killed, and then just
Yes.
didn't replace them, and nobody asked any questions.
He also went and developed his own community of enclaves
Well,
and
no,
kind of got
no.
blacklisted.
He only developed his own community of enclaves after kinda accidentally sort of letting all the party leaders he was assigned die. And then not
Oh,
asking for more. And
okay. So he
making
just
sure to
got a bit
turn
of
off
a
the radio.
so just a little bit of a black mark. Nothing major.
Yes.
Oh no, I lost these important people. Oops.
Oh! Hey, somehow during a weapons
Mhm.
test, a railgun got every single long-range communicator in camp when they were in the shop for maintenance. That's just real unfortunate, but I don't think we can call for we can't call for new leaders, guys. What?
Hmm.
Uh,
Shoot you all, become the next big news sensation.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. Caught in. I don't think you have the ability to use 4K.
what ad
720p.
blocker are you using, Sneaky?
Ad block origin. The uBlock
Huh.
origin. Yeah.
Same as me then. That's weird.
And
Because I'm
uBlock
not getting
Origin
the
is the
captures.
best.
Well,
Yeah.
I also have Ghostery, Privacy Blocker, and Malwarebytes.
I mean, I have Ghostery up. I have both uBlock and Ghostery, so it's not one of those two.
Yeah, it might be the other one. Not Malwarebytes, but
Well, no, because Privacy Badger only blocks the Google syndication ads.
I mean, it
And
could be
apparently
some
it's
of the
Malwarebytes,
settings
my dude.
within something then.
It's possible.
Yeah. Because I used to use some anti-fingerprinting things like Cydeck and Trace.
Yeah.
And they blocked too much, so I'd lose function on quite a few sites.
Yeah, that's why I scaled back to Ghostery, because I used to use NoScript.
Yeah.
Which would just no-sell whole sites.
Yeah, which not useful.
And so I mean, I moved to Ghostery and Privacy Badger and uBlock. So I mean, it's only become a recent problem. Both CurseForge and Fanfiction.net just recently started using this really obnoxious anti-crawling system, which makes no fucking sense because the only way to search for so the search system is garbage on CurseForge, and it's the same for fucking Fanfiction. Like, you're almost better using Google search to search for both things, and it's like, oh well, we don't want web crawlers to be cataloging our websites. It's like, fuck off. Fuck, they get better search system, assholes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, Chief. I'm not getting any captcha pop-ups. So,
Anyway, so gonna pop that. Go a
Probably
little bit
just Sneaky's
blind.
gremlin powers activating again.
How can I tell you?
Yeah.
Gremlin powers go.
So,
Alright, so hear me out. A Warhammer 40,000 story that's just about Sneaky slowly getting kicked out of every single Mechanicus group because the machine spirits just hate his guts.
Or alternatively, the machine spirits like me a little bit too much.
Yeah.
And then he rejects one of them, and it becomes
It's
the
only
director.
one or the other. Like, it's
Yeah.
only one or the other in every enclave.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Pokemon ad for Sneaky. Neat.
Neat.
Yeah.
Not expected.
Oh, so I was going through Destiny's lore today because
Yeah.
Destiny's lore is actually interesting.
A little bit.
I mean, certainly more interesting than the game.
Certainly.
A little bit.
And I was like, oh wait, and I realized something. Guardians would technically be able to just exist as they are in the Fate universe. Because of the
Not-
way that... No, because
Mm,
the way that the light works is it's a paracausal entity that changes the underlying math of the universe.
yes, but you also have to keep in mind that if a guardian is summoned by the fate system, they would operate via the fate system, and that whole...
Oh, I wasn't intending to have them be summoned via the Fate system.
right.
Like, come up with some other reason there, not have them be summoned as a servant per se. 'Cause
Right.
obviously, if they get summoned as a servant, they have to obey the servant rules.
Yeah. But I mean, well, the guardians could operate in any reality because of how they work. I don't know what the point of that
Or sorry,
is.
I meant that their thing technically meshes better with Fate than it would with something with, like, say, no magic, because technically their form of magic is similar to Fate's, where you're tricking the universe into doing what you want, which is technically the same as what they do.
I mean, sure, but that's like basically fucking Warhammer Psychers.
That's true. It is Psychers.
Yeah, that is the definition of a Warhammer Psyker.
Speaking
Yep.
of Destiny, let's see if what kind of cringe fucking
Oh
stories.
yes, let's spin that wheel.
Let's
Please.
spin
the
the
wheel.
wheel.
What?
Oh yeah. Fox News had the Cauldron mod on. Yeah.
I'm sorry. The what mod?
So basically, Fox News had
Oh,
a
God.
r/anti-work mod on, and he also happened to be a Cauldron mod, which is a controversial worm Discord.
Yeah, I was about to say, is this somehow
I
worm
assume
related?
that's a worm reference.
Yeah, it's a controversial worm Discord that promotes itself as the official worm Discord.
I want to promote myself as the official Destiny lore. That doesn't make it the official Destiny lore subreddit. That doesn't mean it's true, boys. Anyway, carry on.
Well, I mean, they had Wildbow on there for a while, I think, and so.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it's a bunch of jumped up idiots.
So anyway, yeah, they had the r/anti-work /
Oh, boy,
Cauldron
that.
Discord mod. They had him on, and he has the
Yeah.
autism, and so
Big autism.
well, look, so there's this whole like self-awareness when it comes to autistic people. Obviously, Atin and I are autistic, and Nose Hair is
No, I am
blatantly
not.
autistic. Oh, you are so fucking autistic, sir.
No,
You're a Warhammer
I'm-
fan, my guy. You play Warhammer 40k.
I hate to break this to you.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be the
Like-
one to tell you this.
This
Listen,
shouldn't be
I'm not
used in
denying
this.
that I'm stupid.
Look, you enjoy both Warhammer and 40k and fucking Kingdom Hearts as well. You have no room to talk about that shit.
Yeah, that's like turbo autism. Sorry, man.
But like Nose Hair's got us all beat, so don't worry about it.
Yes,
Um,
my autism eclipses the sun.
Exactly. But
Don't eat
anyway,
the
point
bag.
being is he's one of those unself-aware autists who doesn't realize they're absolutely garbage at interacting with humans.
See,
And-
that's the key difference between us and all the bad ones out there. We know that we shouldn't interact with normal people, and we confine ourselves to the internet and dumb shows like this.
Exactly. Right, Alvor?
No, Alvor, get the fuck out. You have schoolwork to finish. Go do your homework.
Go to college.
So as I was saying,
Poor
so
man.
basically they had him on, and they basically got him to do the classic thing that Fox News does with absolutely unself-aware leftists, is they get them to say their entire ideology, but they end up making them say it in the most retarded way to explain it possible, so they look like fucking clowns.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, he was like the epitome of a human soy jack.
Oh no, he absolutely was. Also, by the way, then later on, after he went on that interview, some people were like, "Wait a second, I know that guy. He raped me a while back."
Yeah. Like,
I was gonna say, I'm
Wait,
pretty sure
wait,
they
wait,
didn't
I'm sorry.
need to do
Could
a
you
lot of
repeat
work.
that? My brain just
yeah,
record
like-
scratched. I need you to repeat that.
Yeah, he's got rape allegations against him now.
Yeah.
He's been like,
I mean,
he's got
it's a bit beyond allegations.
well, yeah,
Sneaky.
he's got a case
Because-
going. Yeah,
No,
Actually,
mate,
it's
like, some of it
Um,
he fucking admitted to. He
yeah,
said it himself on his Facebook.
yeah.
So
Well,
it's
yeah,
like,
that's the thing though. The thing he posted on his Facebook was that he had forced his girlfriend's hand onto his penis. Except it turns out that's not the allegation they were talking about. He has like
yeah,
actual rape
Yeah.
allegations.
Yeah.
Not just sexual
Yeah.
pet stuff.
So,
So
that's
that actually
another
only
lesson,
made it
kids.
worse.
If you ever go rape people, don't proceed to go on a national news interview.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, also maybe to
unless-
national news interviewers out there, maybe, just maybe take a second to, you
Yeah.
know,
No,
have
see,
your legal team.
No, the allegations came out after
Oh, okay.
because
Okay.
people were
you-
like, "Wait a second, I recognize that guy."
yeah. But Sneaky, there's one caveat to what you said, and
Yeah.
that's only if you're a politician is it fine to go on national news.
Oh yeah, but politicians aren't people.
with your rapist.
Yeah.
True. But yeah, that interview was fucking amazing though. He had such singers as
Yeah, there was. Oh,
laziness is a virtue.
yeah.
and
It's
he's-
everyone's
Laziness being a
right
virtue
to do art,
is actually
and we should
a
be
thing.
paid to be lazy. And yeah,
yeah,
it was
he
like
said
I
he
said.
has-
He explained his whole. Don't get me wrong. I actually kind of agree with the original premise of anti-work. And so basically, r/anti-work started off as a subreddit dedicated to people telling big corporations to go fuck themselves for asking them
Yeah.
to do excessive and ridiculous things.
Which- Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Like, you hear the horror stories coming from, you know, people who worked at, like, Goldman
Amazon
Sachs,
and
and it's
shit.
like, oh yeah, I worked 80 hours a week.
Yeah, like my boss. I'm currently at my grandmother's funeral, and my boss just demanded I come in. I quit, and like that was a normal post on our anti-work before the leftists, communists came in and took it
Yeah.
over.
Yeah. Though, to be fair, I think
yeah.
a lot of those earlier posts were more creative writing exercises.
No,
Like
don't get
a
me
lot
wrong.
of other Reddit
Yeah,
story
yeah.
subreddits.
Obviously, everyone clapped is going to be just a
Yeah.
an assumption.
Common occurrence.
Yeah, no, not common occurrence. Just an assumption you would make on most of those posts. With everything that
Yeah.
happens on the internet. I mean, again, I wouldn't believe any of the most of the stories that I tell on this podcast. I wouldn't believe if they hadn't happened to me.
Yeah.
And frankly, if I didn't know, like, Sneaky for who he was, and if I hadn't seen the things that happened to him in college, I'd be like, obviously, those stories are nonsense. But I saw what happened to him in college, and I'm like, this
This man lives in an anime.
might be true.
Yeah.
To circle back to conversion real quick.
Yeah.
Laziness as a virtue is
Yeah.
an actual thing in economics. What that
Yes.
refers
Yeah.
to is just it's the idea that lazy workers tend to find the most efficient way to do stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Like-
absolutely. I don't disagree that laziness.
Well, no, I would say
isn't-
his thing.
Yeah.
You need a certain level of work ethic.
Yeah. Like laziness
You
as
gotta
a
grow up.
way
It's
of
a
making yourself
balancing
more
act. It's
productive
the same
with
thing
less
with
work.
anything else, you know.
Yeah, that's fine. I get it, right?
Yeah.
But what this guy means is that
Yes.
25
Yeah.
hours of work
Obviously.
a week is too much. And
Yeah,
he works
yeah.
as a fucking
He
dog
was
walker.
saying shit like
So,
five work days a week is too much and stuff like that. I should
Yeah.
be only I should only have to go to work whenever I feel like it, and I should only work as many hours as I feel like when I feel like, and I should still be able to live just fine with what I do. Like, yeah, no,
Yeah.
buddy, no,
Fucking
no.
dog
Here's the fun
walker.
thing.
Yeah.
There are models out there that can mathematically prove that the optimum work week is something.
All right, and he's gone. Anyway,
Yeah,
so Underplayed
unfortunate.
continues to
You
say,
completely cut out. He's been silenced by the FBI.
yeah, the FBI is coming for
Yeah.
y'all, Vor. I hate to break this deal.
That's got him.
Sorry, that's my shit connection. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So
Yeah, we can hear
optimal
you.
work week, buddy.
So there are mathematical models that can prove that the optimal work week is about 30 hours a week, but everyone has to do that every week, all the time, and you can never have a week off. But it is
Yeah.
possible that if everyone pitched in and no one screwed with the system, then we could achieve like 100% or like 99.98% economic efficiency. I think it's like a
Oh yeah,
30
no,
hour
I fully
week.
believe that, but at the same time, so is communism on paper. It sounds great.
Now that being said,
Yeah.
I've seen a lot more support for the 4-day work week.
Yeah, yeah.
With
4-day
everyone
work
doing
week's
it
very
with the models vary, but they recommend, some of them recommend that you do 4 hours a week, that you do 4 days a week and you keep everybody on the 8 hours. And some of them recommend that you switch to a 10-hour. Some of them are like you need to throw 1 extra hour in, because different models account for varying levels of efficiency.
Honestly,
not right with
I think personally, as someone who's worked jobs that definitely 100% were not absolutely necessary to have at 8 hours. Like when I worked for ICE, one of the things that was suggested and one of the things that was never implemented until after I left was switching everyone to 6 hours per day, but staggering the shifts, so people would come in at 8, people would come in at 10, and people would come in at 12. So during the height of the work day, you would have the most people, but also at the same time, near the end of the workday, you would have the least amount of people when no one's really calling anymore. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
And so for
I
people
do
that
have a
wanted to
question
get
about
in
ICE.
early, you had that, and people that wanted to get in late, you had that, and it honestly sounded like a pretty good system to me.
So,
Yeah, I
quick
mean,
question about. Go ahead.
good.
Yeah. What? Oh, Alvar,
Uh,
what are you saying?
Yeah, go ahead, Alvar.
Quick question about ICE.
Yeah.
When you were obviously working there,
Yeah.
you know that is a government bureau.
Yeah.
But what was the mindset of ICE? Was it like your beat cops? Was it more FBI? Was it more that you guys were just?
I assume from all the call center people, it was Jesus Christ, I want a paycheck.
Yeah, I mean, you had
Yeah.
several kind of attitudes going on. For the more frontline guys, it was a mixture of honor, duty, sacrifice, and paycheck, because the guys on the front lines got a danger pay, a very, very hefty danger pay.
Right,
Which,
of
to be
course.
fair, though, they did deserve it, because their cars got shot at constantly. People would throw bricks at them. Pretty much every single day, you had at least one report of an ICE agent going to a hospital.
Mhm.
So they
Oh, yeah.
definitely deserve the danger pay. The unfortunately the back line, the area where I worked at, it was a very apathetic, uncaring, disinterested, unmotivated workforce. The veteran employees were all, honestly, they all spent more time on Facebook than they did taking calls.
And was that a leadership issue? Was that an organizational environment issue?
A little bit of both, honestly. So the problem mainly was in the location I worked at, was the two HR ladies were absolutely, utterly corrupt, and the manager was a position hopper. So position hopping in the government works as the follows. So say your clearance starts at E1, and E10 is the highest paying position for your branch. You don't get promoted in the government. What you do is you switch jobs. So basically, you're E1, you work there for a year and a half, and a position for an E2 opens up. You apply for the position, you get the position, you move to E2. You work there for a year, and a position for E3 opens up, and you apply for the position, you get the position, you move to E3. And now you got to keep in mind that these positions are not in the same building. They are not in the same branch of, general work. They are going to be in the same overarching department. So in this instance, the Department of Defense. everything that the Department of Defense handles would be here. So basically, you know, maybe she started in Homeland Security, but then moves to ICE, but then moves to the Pentagon, but then moves to a branch outpost in California, but then moves to Wyoming, but then moves to Vermont. So she wasn't interested in the job. She was interested in her next job. And so that basically gave the two HR career for lifers a authoritarian dominion over the building, and basically they sabotaged people's work careers, barred their transfers out by giving them bad reviews, so they couldn't transfer to other positions. Basically made it impossible to leave the current positions they were in, made it impossible to get promoted to a higher position, made it impossible to get pay raises. And then their department, due to the past couple presidents that weren't starting with the letter T, the ICE was severely gutted on the back end. To give you an idea, it started with 120 employees, got reduced to 6, including 2 HR. Of course, the HR ladies, despite there being only 4 employees they had to manage, one of them was the person above them. They were never reduced the size of HR. Of course not.
Of course not. HR will always protect HR.
Yeah, and so then they went from those 6 employees to around 60 when they hired us on. And the HR ladies had grown very, very fond of their empty office. Let's put it at that.
So they would go out of their way to make sure no one else could come in and shake things up.
Not only shake things up, I got blacklisted. I'll just flat out say I got told I was blacklisted.
Well, who told you that?
The company trying to hire me. So basically, we got hired on as temporary workers.
Yeah.
Through a third-party company, with the idea that at the end of the contract, the best workers would be hired on in permanent positions. And $500,000 just, you know, you kind of just misplaced that, you know?
So
Got
embezzlement.
misplaced,
Where did it go?
and so they had to fire 30 of us because they couldn't find that $500,000. It just disappeared. Who could have guessed where that went? And so they told a bunch of us that we were all being laid off, and it was very interesting who got laid off, because who got laid off was all the people that HR didn't like. Despite all of us, they laid off the top 20 employees, by the way. There was no one in the top 20 employees that stayed on. Because HR... Well, so one did, but he was black and from Sudan, so... don't get me wrong, he was a great employee. Obviously, he was in the top 20, but, you know, the diversity quota and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, the top 20 employees would be confident in what they do because they're the best at their job, and they would be less likely to submit to HR.
Well, also, we kind of were outspoken in our dislike of HR.
Mm-hmm.
And so we all got sacked, and a little bit down the line, I got contacted by that company again.
Sacked.
I got contacted by the company that originally hired me accidentally. And I was talking with the guy who had contacted me, and he goes, "Oh shit, man, sorry. I just looked at your file. I accidentally contacted you." I'm like, "What do you mean you accidentally contacted me?" He's like, "Oh well, you got listed here that you're blacklisted, and we can't hire you again for this job." I'm like, "Okay."
Was he at least able to tell you what the blacklisting was? Like,
oh yeah, it was a request from the it was a request from the hirer, which is HR for ICE.
Yeah,
HR from ICE specifically requested
like
that they not hire me again.
right, but I'm saying, like, theoretically, you should be able to request Why? Like,
No,
No.
it's really simple. All they have in his little file is a note that says, "Oh, he was argumentative. Oh, he was difficult. Oh, he was consistently late to work." It doesn't need to be something huge or like, or
Even
necessarily
true.
particular.
Yeah, or even
Well, yeah.
true.
because I know Sneaky is a lot of things. Like, listen, if they put argumentative in, I could believe that.
Yeah,
They put
argumentative.
Difficult to deal with other
itself.
people, I could believe that. Not things like late to work, and surprisingly, not like you might think Sneaky would be very insubordinate. Generally, Sneaky is not insubordinate, from my experience.
I'm honestly
Only when it
really
feels
not.
like it.
You just have to be really fucking incompetent for me to become insubordinate.
Like
I mean,
Surprisingly nice,
argumentative
that's
with
very
normal
common.
employees, absolutely.
Sneaky, you ever told one of your bosses you didn't like them while on the job? Just out of curiosity, because insubordination includes backtalk or saying "fuck you."
No, not really.
Okay.
I would say that depends on the
Well, because he mentioned that he along with a few others were outspoken about their dislike for HR that could be construed or misconstrued as
Yeah, but they weren't our
insubordination,
bosses.
unfortunately.
They weren't our
yeah,
superiors.
but if they're the ones putting a black mark in there,
If
Yeah.
they're the ones putting the black mark, they technically somehow have some sort of.
They were the hiring managers for ICE, so they could dictate to the third-party company who was allowed to be hired and who wasn't.
It's an
But
issue of compartmentalization.
aside from the hiring process, they had no input or any ability to give us orders. In fact, that actually came to a head because at one point they tried to give us orders, and the branch manager for the ICE came storming out of her office and told them off for trying to interfere with our job.
Oof.
Yeah.
By the way, in case you guys were
degree in it.
wondering, the HR for ICE doesn't believe that you can be illegal.
Curious.
Yes.
But to stick my business degree in there, it's really simple.
Yeah, no, it's super simple to
compartmentalization
blackmark
power.
someone. Yeah, no.
No. Because no one else wants to go through the work of actually determining who gets hired and who gets fired. So they have sole discretion, and then the only person who can override them would be a district manager if the district manager has been given that authority. So they can be very low on the overall totem pole. They would have a very narrow area where they had absolute power.
Pretty
They
much.
could do whatever they want.
Yep.
Because remember, it's never HR's fault if a bad person is hired. It's that person's fault for not doing their job. And HR is usually very well connected with the higher level HR departments as well, because that is the thing. Human resources is both important and exists at every level of any form of business or institution. So the lower level HR people were put in place by higher level HR people whose ass they will kiss, because that's how you get promoted
nepotism.
in
Yeah.
HR.
Underplayed Creations does say, as a counterman to you, Alvor, that it feels more and more like companies don't need HR, and you're sort of right. You're both sort of right. Companies definitely need HR, but the problem is they don't need the HR that currently exists. The HR that currently exists is a cancer upon companies.
I would say,
Human
and here's the thing,
resources
right?
in
Like,
theory-
the HR people at my place are pretty good. Like, you go in, you can ask them questions, they'll answer them. They're, they don't do like the hire. They will find candidates, but they aren't the ones doing the interviewing.
Yeah.
That's all
behave
right.
differently.
If someone if they need to hire, if we need welders, they'll put the ads out for welders and they'll run them through the basic, right? Here are the hours, here's what you'd be doing, blah blah blah. But then they go out and they have to speak to the guy on the floor who's in charge of welding.
So anyway,
They
we're a lot
behave
off topic
differently
here,
than
so let's get back onto Destiny and Destiny
Oh, for
stories,
fucking
and
hour.
let's hear about some people's OC's donut steals.
We love those.
We got Tales of Soul Volume 1. That's very ambitious for someone who's only written 36,000 words and has been writing for the past year on this story. Let's see.
yeah,
Petra
more or less.
Venge has always been resilient, or she would have never survived childhood when a sudden friendship spirals into romance. Will she cling to the recognition she
Okay,
thought
Petra's
she
not
wanted?
a hunter.
Or will she
but
put her
sure.
name at risk for a chance of something truly worth fighting for? And how far will she take it when get caught at could result in punishment like exile? Petra times Olderin.
Who's the latter?
Oh, that is so messed up.
Yes, the community agrees with you, Atin, as there is only one favorite.
Like, that's super messed up because
Yeah.
Petra is the one who kills him.
Yeah, I know. We got Eroding Light. What happens if Guardian embraces the darkness? This was just posted, so author, I had to break this to you, but we already know that. The newest Destiny crossover is a Ruby fic that looks extremely cringe. Oh, well, now we have to look at that.
God.
Slimy Tales of the Deep. The deep fills our existence with many insurmountable foes. Lies and deception strive to tear us apart. No, not really. But the males under the Traveler. Wait, what?
Oh no.
But
Keep
the
going.
males under the Traveler can make the hive be open to deeper depths.
I don't even...
Oh.
Hive
Four.
times humanity.
I mean, yeah, no, the humans would pretty much have sexual relations with anything and everything. I believe that. Yeah.
I mean,
Not
everything that's
Hive.
not actively trying
Not
to kill them.
Hive. No, I don't think Hive.
Look, man.
Okay,
People
no,
are into
theoretically,
weird
the
shit.
only thing you could maybe even sort of try with would be one of the witches, like...
No, but you don't
But-
stick your dick in crazy.
Okay, yeah, but, like, Sneaky, obviously people
Uh.
ignore that, but, like, genuinely speaking, I don't think the Hive have...
Look, man,
Gen-
all
like,
I'm
they're not
saying is I
mammals.
really don't want sword logic applied to sex, so we just need to avoid that.
Too bad. Any holes a goal?
Shut up, Cade.
I knew people who are actually like that.
That
in
is
real life,
not
and
Cade, and you will cease thy
That's
incorrect
just like-
statements.
The collective spirit of humanity.
You know, some Tinga, Tapa, Gurren, Logan, Lovin.
Exactly.
I will
Dick
fuck
will
the
pierce
light
the
back
heavens.
into the Hive.
Oh.
So Phantom Pains, oh boy. When Cade was killed, Skylar had to learn how the world worked without him. On Europa, her clan is faced with the fact that the light can't save humanity, and standing by and doing nothing isn't an option. But when the Bray sisters contact her about something that can bring Cade back to life, her world is torn open. What the fuck does that even mean? The
Okay, so
universe isn't done with them yet, and the Traveler never was. A romance angst story a year in the making. Cade 6 times MyoC.
Okay, so here's the thing. Technically speaking, it would be possible to resurrect Cade, if you could recover enough of him, because he is an exo. So you could theoretically reboot him.
He is Robot Man.
Yes.
Robot.
Hive
Oh, he was
express
the guy
love
named-
by
named
killing each
Billy
other.
voiced him.
Yeah, it would be
I
a
know
snuff
who this
fic.
is.
Nearly every streamer I follow is now playing Legends Arceus instead of watching them. I'm here watching you wanting to kill myself from this horrid trash. Well, it's funny you mentioned that. Hold on, let me just get this.
1 second.
Yeah, let me just press this button here and. Yeah, here we go.
Which button is this?
Can you guys hear that?
I do not.
No. Is it supposed to be coming through the stream?
I mean, it's supposed to be coming through the mic. Can you?
Oh, there it goes.
It's just real fucking distorted. And cutting a lot.
Yeah, I guess the my audio cutters and filters are preventing it. It's
Yeah.
Legend Arceus. I have it right here. I'm actually playing it on the Switch right now as I do this stream.
Is it good?
It's interesting. It's basically if you liked Breath of the Wild and you enjoy Pokemon, it's like playing both of them at the same time.
Fair enough. Guess it'll go in the next month list.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's worth $60, but this is Nintendo we're talking about, so $60 is the only price you'll be able to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yo ho ho and a bottle of rum.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I suppose that
we'll
is
put
an
that back
answer
to
as
sleep.
well.
Is this a fucking Destiny fic? Yeah, it is both a fucking fic and a Destiny fic.
Yeah.
Wait.
Who the fuck decides to live on Europa? One of the worst places. Yeah. I want to challenge myself by facing big mons with level 10s, and well, you do that. Oh, cringe. Oh boy, time travel cringe. Oh boy. We're gonna read this story, and then we're gonna move on to the crossovers, actually read a story, and then find something else. Because, Jesus Christ. What we might create. The universe is going to end someday. Well, okay. But not today. As long as a certain warlock and a certain hunter can cooperate. But that won't be hard, right? It's not like there's a long history of animosity between the two. Oh wait, never mind, we're screwed. Another follow-up to You Got Time Universe, except this time everything's made up and that's not air you're breathing.
What?
A very interesting story.
Someone's trying to be,
unfortunately, I am in
yeah.
your walls.
I
Yeah,
can only
start
assume
running.
it's someone's trying to be like lol so funny random, but
yeah, someone's trying to be also funny random.
Yeah.
like first of all, that's just
So-
never like a great humor style.
I mean, no, hold on. In 2004, it was funny because A, we were children. B, it was the humor style at the time.
Yeah, but like
Yeah.
right, but like you look back and it's not fantastic.
Yeah, no. Looking
mean,
back
well,
on it, I'm
yeah.
like, most of that
You've
stuff
changed
wasn't
as a
actually that
person.
funny.
Imagine
No,
that.
but like I have
Oh, fuck you.
nephews, right? Like I've got a set of nephews that's 10 years younger than me, and I've got a set of nephews that's like 15 years younger than me, right? They've both gone through like that phase, and like they were
Yeah.
never doing that brand of humor. Is my point? Like,
I mean, yeah, because that's
mm.
also something that changes with.
Yeah, changes.
yes,
with
I'm
the
aware, but I'm
culture.
saying, like,
I'm
It's
saying
not-
that's not a fucking surprise. That should be fucking obvious.
But no, what I'm saying is basically, how to put this? Okay, so there's that one meme, the kind of the anti-meme, I guess, that gets shared around a bit of like, anyone that laughs at me shouting the word lettuce, you are what's wrong with this generation or whatever. It's funny because of the context. Like, someone just shouting lettuce, I would just look at them and be like, why are you shouting lettuce? But the context of the whole thing makes it funny. But also random humor was a very situational, based on everything humor brand that doesn't really work anymore because the
Yeah.
internet's a known entity now. A lot of people use their real names now. Like, I know people, like, back in the day, people did lol so random humor in real life, interacting
Oh,
with
yeah.
other people.
Absolutely.
Like, it wasn't just an internet humor brand. It was like a thing that people genuinely did.
Yeah.
The other thing is that kind of comedy requires the right personality to pull it off.
Well, I mean,
You've
yeah,
gotta
that
be
too,
able to-
obviously, yeah.
I would
Otherwise,
say it's
you're
it's
just
also
obnoxious.
a style that's immensely more difficult to pull off if you are not in a live visual format.
The second fic there, Seeker, is one of the best I've ever read. All of Kidoi's stuff has been good, and that fic is particularly interesting. Okay, well, Transformers, Beast Wars, and Destiny?
Okay then.
I
If you
mean,
say
look
so,
at it, I
Lloyd.
suppose.
Yeah.
That's a combo.
That's an opinion.
Yeah, that's definitely an opinion. So anyway, the first story here is The Taken King's Ascension, a Ruby Destiny crossover. Everything was taken from him in one night. His village, his family, his sister. You know, I should really learn how to play Sweet Home Alabama's opening notes on a harmonica so I can just be like breaking it out during these podcasts.
Yeah.
Those who wronged him will pay for their sins. He would rise above and take his place as leader of Remnant. He would, however, not do so alone. This is the tale of Sky Obsidian. And he would become the Taken King.
Well, that's true
OC
as a
times
name.
Yang.
So, small
Yeah.
interjection here for anyone who's an aspiring author.
Yeah.
Never, ever, ever name your protagonist Sky Obsidian.
Yeah.
Just don't.
Yeah.
Don't name them Spydar Poison Blood either.
Spydar Poison Blood. That was so fucking great.
Classic.
Oh god, that is classic.
That sounds like Spider-Man
that one
erotic
keeps
wolf.
coming
Oh,
up.
so Alvor, do you know about the legend of Spydar Poison Blood?
Oh,
I have no idea what that is, but it's.
we gotta make a T-shirt out of that
Oh,
someday.
Jesus Christ, we do. So, put it on a mug or something. So basically.
Oh wait, no, Sneaky.
Hmm.
What we'll do is it'll be one of those mugs that's got like you fill it with right when it gets filled with a warm liquid, the design changes. So the outside will
yeah.
say Spydar Poison Blood, and then it'll just have like a shitty spider drawing when you fill it with
Of
warm
course, yeah.
whatever.
So Spydar Poison Blood is the name of an original character of a Skyrim story. Of the Dovahkiin MC. Max, you okay there, Max?
You sound a bit of a static.
No, I'm
Yeah,
fine.
you got some static
yeah.
going.
Yeah.
I have no idea why.
So Spydar Poison Blood was a Skyrim OC, and the author said his real name's not Spydar Poison Blood. Now, you might be thinking I'm saying Spider Poison Blood in an interesting way. No. He spelt it Spy-dar, poison, no O, blood with a U. And he said his character changed their name to Spydar Poison Blood because he wants bandits to think about spiders when they hear him coming so they get scared and run away.
All I can say is that that's incredibly ambitious for someone with the name Spydar Poison Blood. I don't think any bandit anywhere would be terrified of that. I think that's very much counterproductive.
Listen, if I'm a bandit and I hear that I'm being chased by some guy named Spydar Poison Blood, I'll be like, Jesus Christ, are you fucking 5?
And then I'll turn around and stab him.
Here's the question. If there's a
it's
Spydar
the
Poison
opposite of
Blood,
intimidating.
where's the Spydar Poison Crypts?
Based, yes.
Nobody knows.
That should be a thing. A universe matchup.
Max, do you
where
have like a
Spider Blood
fan
and
going
Spider
into your
Crypt
mic or
each other.
something?
Yeah, there's a lot of static, Max.
I have no idea. I'll just mute for now. I don't know what the fuck would be causing that.
I thought it was music. It sounded rhythmic.
Yeah, it's definitely rhythmic.
Is it your brother?
No, he moved out 2 weeks ago. Fucking finally.
Holy cow! Okay, how long until he goes broke and has to come back?
I give him 2 weeks.
Would you fucking put that on me, you pieces of shit?
Oh, come on, Max!
No.
Max, you had
No.
to have considered that possibility.
I ignored it actively.
Yeah.
I don't have anything that would be causing static aside
Yeah.
from I'm working on a model kit right now. You guys might be hearing the nippers from time to time.
No,
No,
it's
no,
definitely
it's
not.
genuinely
near
like
constant.
it's like when Nose leaves his AC on and puts his mic directly into it.
No, I don't know what it would be then. I have nothing close enough to cause that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well.
All right. Let's see. We got My Hero Academia Destiny story. That sounds interesting, right, guys? Heroes
No,
and
actually, it
Hive
doesn't.
Magic.
Oh, that's
When
no.
Izuku was 8 years old, a mishap with a classmate's quirk deletes him.
That's great.
At the same time, Eris Morn was having
Finally.
a terrible day as her fire team attacked Crota in Hellmouth. Neither knew it then, but that day would forever change the worlds of both futures. Both of their
stupid.
worlds' futures. 832 favorites.
How? Wait, actually, never mind. Don't answer.
Well, it's.
I mean, we
I
know
know.
we know how.
Yeah.
That entire section is cancer.
Yeah.
I will say,
Rhetorical question.
if you use powers, you can make almost anything in MHA crossover so long as you limit it to a power, and it's adjusted for the setting.
Yeah, but I mean, you've all heard. I already went on my whole anti-MHA rant last time around, so I'm not gonna do it again. But I still fucking hate MHA.
I
Yeah.
used to like it. I read the manga because I'm a fucking hipster and I can't like anything if it's popular. And I always have to do the most hipster possible thing in any situation.
Okay.
And I honestly think it got bogged down and
Yeah.
it kind of went up its own ass.
Yeah, that was my point when I went on my rant last.
Yeah. I think with MHA it's a bit similar to Undertale, Attack on Titan, a few other things. Like the original series is probably good, maybe great in some cases, but the fucking fan base is so goddamn annoying.
Yeah.
And they never shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So like I've just decided that several things I'm just not going to watch or read or play.
Like JoJo.
Because
Persona.
like JoJo, yeah, exactly. JoJo, like how many dicks can you suck in a row? I don't know, ask a JoJo fan.
They'll launch into a 6-hour debate on what stand would allow the most optimum.
Yeah, they really would.
I mean, clearly
Yeah.
the answer's got to be the time stop one, right?
Hey guys, my
I
quirk
mean,
needs me to
yeah,
kill
I'm sure
people.
there's-
Isn't that grand? It kind of makes sense Destiny-wise, because Eris used the monkey paw genie to get out of dying from a botched mission. It would make sense the genie takes a wish, like I wished I was back on Earth to put her on alternative Earth. Yeah, I mean that's fine and all. But
It's just fucking retarded.
Izuku, we've already talked about Izuku's personality. Izuku, at the age of fucking 8 of all things, would die in Hellmouth. Not only because
Yeah.
A, there's no oxygen on the moon.
Curious.
I think the Hive do actually need I think their environments might actually be oxygenated.
I don't think they are.
You would know better than me.
I do think the Hive need oxygen. Maybe
I'm pretty sure they don't, because there's a bunch of shit all the time about how they have like separate like dimensions and shit. So unless they can create oxygen.
But yeah, if it's separate dimension, their dimension might not even have oxygen because physics doesn't work the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how their
The Hive
oxygen
need
could literally
oxygen.
be super acid to us. So cross-dimensional shit automatically throws everything out the window.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, not getting anything on here. I mean, they're undead-like. They're described as undead-like, so...
yeah, all right. Skip the oxygen then. But either way, even if there was oxygen, it doesn't matter because
fucking
Izuku's
Firefight.
a normal person.
He's
not even a normal person. He's a fucking
8-year-old.
child.
Yeah.
Literally an 8-year-old.
Moon was terraformed, I think. There's enemies with flora hanging off of them. I mean, like, the thing is with flora, though, is flora doesn't need oxygen, and it doesn't need to produce oxygen. Carbon dioxide conversion into oxygen is one of the most prevalent ones on planet Earth, because carbon dioxide is extremely prevalent, being that a lot of fucking creatures breathe it out. But there's plants that are in other areas of the Earth that convert other things into other things for the same
I'm pretty sure there are plants that subsist wholly on converting nitrogen into oxygen, right?
Yeah, nitrogen, yeah. Well, not oxygen, it's other stuff.
Or I'm sorry, yeah, they could I'm sorry, the oxygen is the byproduct of the nitrogen process.
Yeah.
If they turn nitrogen into oxygen, I'm gonna have to ask what the fuck, because that's breaking at least 3 or 4 laws of physics.
It's like they eat nitrogen and then they combine it with hydrogen and they release the oxygen from the combination. So they're not.
Yeah,
and that lets like certain species survive by taking the oxygen they produce. A bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Clovers are great for pushing nitrogen into soil.
Yeah.
I can't get my dad to fucking listen. We have a mushroom problem. Keep telling him, leave the clovers alone. They look good. They've been used for large courtyards because they look good.
Yeah.
And he insists they're weeds. Like, they've not been weeds.
I actually have the opposite problem.
Any
research I've done killed my
Anyway, look, the point is 8-year-old Izuku would literally in no way have literally none of them. Okay, maybe Bakugo could survive in the Hellmouth. Maybe.
No, because he'd be an arrogant idiot, overextend and get himself
he would instantly overextend and just get cut in half by a knight.
I would say it entirely depends on what section of the Hellmouth they're in. Like, obviously, if they've made it to Crota, he's doomed. But like, if he's stuck in like a thrall way, yeah, he might be able to get out.
They're fighting Crota.
Oh, okay, so it's literally in the Crota fight. Yeah, no. He's not getting out.
Yeah, which is my point, is like some fucking 8-year-old shows up and that's somehow supposed to make the situation better.
Yeah.
Like literally the only way I can see the situation even going anywhere is like Izuku being like, I gotta be a hero, so I'll be a hero, and then fucking sword logicking his way into being basically All Might.
I mean, Sneaky, there's one way having an 8-year-old in a firefight could be useful.
Yeah, shut
Baby
up,
armor.
Bait.
Yes, haha. Anyway, he could. Here's the problem: he wouldn't even be able to sword logic his way to victory, Sneaky, because, like, as far as we know, in order to like start the theoretical sword logic process,
murder,
he would have to kill at least one hive.
True.
Right, so he would have to kill one thrall to get the process going.
How difficult is a thrall to kill? Because
for a normal person, terrifying.
Yeah, basically impossible.
No, you can kill him with a gun.
Oh, I mean, really yeah, with a gun, yeah. But like, a normal person shooting a thrall is basically all they can do. Like, the problem is that lore-wise, where there's one thrall, there's like 30. So
such things tend to do, yeah.
You're kind of gonna be outnumbered and outgunned by a hive mind.
That boy, oh boy, does it hate your guts.
Yeah. So normal person shooting at a hive guy is gonna be a losing proposition. Especially if, like a knight shows up, and because basically, like, even guardians fall to knights, canonically. It's just like the top tier guardians are the ones that kind of blaze through everyone, and then even then, it's also canon that a fair number of guardians fall to witches, and it's like the toppest tier, so basically the main character group, are are the ones that can fight the witches and Crota and the Taken King and like all these.
To be fair, just because a normal guardian gets taken out doesn't actually mean they've died.
I like to point to Destiny 2.
Okay, but those were guardians that did not have the light.
They were specifically harvested because they had the light.
No, they didn't have the ability to respawn.
No, they did.
No, they did not.
Yeah,
that was during the period when they did not have the light of the traveler.
They literally got harvested for their light and turned into crystals. I don't know how you wouldn't be able to respawn if you don't have light.
Sneaky. They still had the light. Zavala and what's-her-face, Zavala and Ikor, they all still had the light, but they didn't have it in the same way that you did.
Fair.
The whole reason the player character could do what they did at the start of Destiny 2 was because they went to a shard of the Traveler and got repowered up. If you actually remember, and I don't blame anybody who doesn't, all the way back to the very first mission of Destiny 2, after you've gotten your ass kicked, your ghost, he basically says, I think I can heal you, but it's going to take a long time, and I definitely can't revive you.
Sneaky, I think you misunderstood what happened in that mission. Dude, Destiny lore just goes over my
No,
fucking head half
they
the
were
time.
in fact harvested for their light. Zero question of that. They were stuck, they were turned into those crystals so the hive could do some whack-ass hive shit.
Yeah,
that's unquestionable.
Pretty much normal, yeah. Yeah. Hey guys, I wrote this on my phone.
Oh yeah, that's a great fucking start.
Christ, that's a great way to start this, yeah.
Oh boy.
Hey, I have to write on my phone half the time. That is not something to be proud of.
Alvor, I was literally about to say, I'm like, Alvor, I'm pretty sure I've dunked on your stories before as well. So
Oof.
Yeah.
I don't think you've ever actually really dunked on my stuff. I think every bit of criticism...
not as hard as I've dunked on Tojo's.
Tojo, Lupine.
Tojo rolled in thinking he was hot shit and rolled out in a stretcher.
Look,
Yeah.
I'm
Poor man. Stopped riding after that.
Tojo got better. He busted his ass, and he's gotten much better as an author. Yeah. He never fucking calls me unless he wants something though, and that annoys me a little bit. But
sounds about right.
He puts effort in, and he can get very frustrated. But if you give him criticism, he does tend to take it.
Mm.
So
yeah,
I will stick up for him there.
Yeah, but anyway, the point is,
I think Gray has the right way of doing it, and to a certain extent, me as well. Because when Gray writes, and when I wrote, I had Sneaky, and Gray has Sneaky helping it. So Sneaky can't really dunk on it if he's writing it, right?
That is
no. It's false.
That is very untrue.
You have never heard me in calls with Max where I'm just like, Max, why the fuck did you let me write this? This is literal crack whore tier shit.
Yeah, alright, hang on. So, alright, qualifying statement. When it gets to the point of actually being published, right?
Again, you are wrong. I said this from experience. First two chapters of Scorched Earth, when we decided to make the group account,
we had to rewrite large chunks of that.
Chapter 1 was a massive rewrite, and Chapter 2 we rewrote at least half of it.
Yeah.
And then Chapter 3 and 4, it's like, oh, we found a good stride here. So 3 had some minor cosmetic changes, and 4 was just a touch-up.
Writing with Gray, writing with Gray is definitely has a massive improvement over Max and I writing in terms of my skill level and my satisfaction with what we post. But no, I will still talk with Gray occasionally and just completely being like, yeah, no, I fucking hate what I wrote here, but I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the best we're gonna get, honestly.
And it's utter hell.
Yeah.
Trying to
Yeah.
decipher.
I will say
Understandable. I'm going to drink more.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can drink to that.
Oh fuck.
Cheers.
So I got blood work done recently, right? And I just got the results back.
Did you mean your
Um,
alcohol done?
Yeah, my alcohol was tested recently, and they found blood in it.
Unfortunate.
Um,
Yeah, my condolences.
yeah. So it turns out that I am very low on vitamin D, extremely low on vitamin D, deficient on vitamin D.
Gee, maybe that's because you don't
Ah,
go
yeah.
outside.
Join the
Fuck
gang.
you!
I mean, like, I literally haven't seen the sun in like.
Yeah.
Okay,
months?
but you live in Norway and the sun doesn't exist
Yeah.
there.
Exactly.
I
Yeah,
have not
so,
seen the sun in 2 months because it's never able to be seen at this point.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it also turns out that surprisingly, my high cholesterol isn't that high, and my low cholesterol isn't that low. They're both borderline, which is what I'm trying to say. You
Well-
would think someone in my lifestyle would be far worse, but apparently not. But however,
yeah.
I was
No, I
highly
can believe the
amused.
cholesterol being fine, actually. You don't talk a lot about having eggs and bacon.
I
Which
wish
would
I
be your
had
best
eggs and
sources.
bacon. I love eggs and bacon so much. I
Damn
I
right.
used to eat a lot of eggs and bacon.
You know, those
Bacon
eggs
and
are behind
eggs
you
is
now.
delicious.
Point being is that I was reading their recommendations for helping lower my HDL levels, and they said having a couple drinks every night is a great way to help your body process HDL and get rid of it. And I was like, well, I can drink to
Alright,
that.
then.
Oh, no,
Cheers,
they're
bro.
encouraging you.
Sneaky,
Excellent.
they said a few drinks, not a few bottles.
Look, man,
What
that's like
what they
saying
don't
know, what they don't know doesn't hurt Sneaky.
if I use the bottle as a cup,
Kind
that
of.
makes it a few drinks, right?
I mean, yeah, I guess.
I
That's
will
certainly a way of
allow
looking at
this.
it.
I
Fill it
will
with
allow this
vodka.
way of
That is
thinking,
one
even
thing.
if I'm disappointed.
Loophole.
Yeah.
Loophole
loophole in
found.
Our story starts with two young boys.
It's already horrible.
I'm already uncomfortable.
Alright, then Epstein. Carry on.
I wish I added the young part, but I didn't. The author literally wrote that.
Yeah.
Izuku Midoriya, a small green-haired boy with seemingly weak quirk. Seemingly weak quirk.
No. Weak clerk. Much better.
Immunity to mental influence. It made him
Well-
immune to mind control and telepathy.
That's
How the fuck would they be
There-
able to test that?
Well, the other thing is, he mentioned seemingly useless. Like, I don't know. There's a few agencies that would love to
I
have
have
them
a
right out of
useless
school.
quirk. Oh, what's your quirk? I'm immune to mind control. How the fuck is that useless?
Not just that.
Can I interest you in a scholarship, young man? And a job.
Chris, you been working
out of
for
school.
like the CIA?
Right.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
also immune to all mental influences. He'd be immune to things that cause fear, anxiety, illusions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that's actually quite a few immunities. If you think about it.
And then
That
the
man
other
has a
young
job in
boy.
the spy industry.
Somaya Chiro. Who the fuck is this?
Random person.
OC.
Yes.
Ah.
A lanky redhead whose quirk made things vanish from existence. He would touch objects, and then the object would be gone. Again, what the
yes.
fuck? Jesus Christ, that's really strong.
Plot device of the character.
Both boys attended the same primary school, but hadn't interacted before. The first time they had ever spoken to each other was at camp when they were 8. It was on this camping trip that Izuku Midoriya vanished, disappearing from the world. Darkness Everywhere around Izuku was black, no light whatsoever. Actually, technically speaking, it wouldn't be dark. Your eyes wouldn't be able to process what would be around you. Because to have darkness, your eyes need to see a fraction of light.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't you start hallucinating or something?
Yeah, you actually start hallucinating.
Yeah, Brace was like, what the fuck?
Brain's got to fill something in.
Yeah, your brain literally goes, I can't see, so I'm going to invent things you're seeing because I can't process the fact that you can't see.
Oh,
Based
Human brain be interesting like that.
wild.
Human brain's a dick.
The human brain
Yeah.
is real bad, yo.
Yeah, fuck the brain. It's kind of critical.
What's my brain ever done for me besides give me hallucinations, huh?
Like, in all
Nothing.
seriousness, yeah, I'm
I mean, in your case,
skeptical.
nothing. Yeah.
My brain literally gives me hallucinations. So yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
drink to that.
Yeah, I'll
I
drink
don't think
to
you're
that.
alone here on that one, my guy.
The last thing he remembered was he bumped into his classmates and they're bragging about their quirks. Oh yeah, just touching the guy made you go fucking delete it. Okay, it's one way to
I mean,
keep
listen,
the guide.
If the villain's gotta go, like, if you're not worried
Also,
about
Can I just
like,
say, I love
capturing the
that
villain.
Legends Arceus just straight off starts with, "Hi, you've been dead. I'm God."
Oh, it just starts off like
Yeah,
that, huh?
Just opens up with, "Yeah, you're dead. I'm God. Hello."
Welcome.
you're dead, I'm
Oh.
God. Any further questions?
So
Several.
you're
Too
not
bad.
having a good day, clearly.
So you're having a bad day. I'm having a bad day.
We're all having a bad day. Shut the fuck
I
up.
have a proposition for you. I'll bring you back to life, put you on another planet. There'll be Pokemon there. You know what Pokemon is, because you're an isekai character. Yes, from the
Oh.
games.
Oh, good. So finally, the Pokemon Isekai I've never dreamed of exists now, huh?
And you know what the
Well, I say
Pokemon
that
section
was
is
a
gonna
thing.
be like?
Oh, God.
The
Oh,
Pokemon
God.
fanfiction section. I am going to
Oh,
eat
no, it's gonna be
fucking
nuke.
glass.
Aye, cheers, bro. I'll hold you to that.
Meanwhile,
I
in
hope-
Destiny,
I hope
you've
that-
been a long,
Oh.
been a long time. I'm Lucifer.
Oh.
You know, I bet there's at least one ghost out there that started with that. Hi, I resurrected you. You've been dead for a long time, approximately 2,000 years. I'm Lucifer.
Oh. That
I mean, listen, I've always wanted the Destiny story where the ghost manages to find out exactly how long you did, like, for whatever reason, like, right? Let's say that, like, the stupid piece of plastic that is your driver's license survives.
Or you're like, you carried a hard drive or some shit in your pocket.
Oh god, my hentai collection. No.
Now, see, I
You
came
are
up
on
with
the
that
way to, like,
specific- no,
deposit your will
like,
or something.
I don't think you guys understand. I came up with that example specifically because I know someone in real life from my school that used to walk around with a hard drive full of porn.
As a pervert does, yes.
I mean, yeah. You gotta respect the grind.
And I'm just
No,
like,
you don't.
why? And he's like, well, class is boring. I'm like, so you just look at porn during class? He's like, yeah.
Oh,
Hey, looks at
But,
this
like-
fucking hard drive. Bro.
Yeah, well,
what-
it
what
wasn't
day
a
in
hard
class?
drive specifically. It was three
USB
burned.
stick.
No, it was
Oh.
3 burned PSP discs. He burned
Oh.
3 PSP
Fucking-
discs
Oh
of
my
porn.
Fucking what?
Oh, yes, you've told me this story a couple
Yeah.
of times,
Oh
and
my
I'm
God.
always left in shock each time because I try to forget it.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
I actually
Also,
have a
yeah.
theory.
Imagine that you like the language translation matrix that the ghost uses. Yeah, because Lucifer was the light bringer and travelers referred to as light. Yeah, the ghost through the multitudes of like translations, like, oh, we don't have a direct translation to this, so we're gonna have to do some, Vietnamese crystal style translations going on here of like going between different languages so we can get to your language. It's like, hi, I'm Lucifer.
Hello, my name is Lucifer.
To share a story real quick. When I was still in high school, one kid started jacking off in class.
Jesus Christ, that's a bold man.
Yeah, that's
That's
impressive,
not the
honestly.
worst part. He hit the kid in front of him in the back of the head.
Wait,
Kid realized what was
Wait,
happening.
what? Like,
How
he
the
took his
fuck?
pants off?
He opened his fly.
Oh
And
my
then
god.
the kid turned around on the guy who jacked off on him and puked. And just got that guy straight in the face. It was awful. People were screaming. I laughed so damn hard.
What the actual fuck?
oh, that's a bold move, boyo.
Wow.
Okay, like I gotta
Jesus
ask, was this like
Christ.
a special like?
So,
Okay, let's be clear. None of this is acceptable, but like if they didn't have like a grasp of like social mores, maybe it's a little better, I guess.
oh, this was in a French class.
Oh, well,
and it
that's
was,
why.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah. No,
Never mind.
but no, this guy literally just opened his fly middle of the class, just went at it. And the worst thing is though, I was sitting behind him with my best friend at the time, and we didn't realize what was going on. It's like, what the fuck is he doing? He's not doing that. Then we see him shoot the guy.
No,
in the
to be
back of the
fair,
head, and we're like,
you
"Holy
would never
crap."
suspect someone of doing that.
Oh man. The thing is though, the teacher didn't really believe that's what had happened at first, and then the kid, because it was in his hair, held it up to her and was like, "Look," and she started screaming at the kid who started jacking off. That day of class.
Again?
No,
No, just in general, as in like.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, no, hang on. I did have to. I was like, wait, did he just?
I mean, I assume my school was awful. We had a lot of really bad shit happen. This was like just the funny pervert. This wasn't the rapey pervert.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh god.
Ah, yes.
I'm worried
The
that your
two
school had one
perverts.
of those.
Yeah, that's impressive, honestly.
But yeah, that was like the single greatest day of school, and I remember that specifically for the obvious reasons. But also
See,
because I wanted to skip
my
that day.
largest memory that I don't think I'll ever lose of high school will forever be that time that two jocks started a fight in the hallway right outside the ROTC room, and the drill sergeant proceeded to run out of the ROTC room and do some fucking Hollywood tier martial arts moves and kicked the shit out of both of them in under like 10 seconds.
Absolutely, babe.
Epic.
God, I hate that we're in a day and an age where they can't do that any longer.
I know, right?
It was like at my school, it was like if you're gonna start a fight and our RTC guy and the coaches come up, you don't throw a swing at them, you just break it up. Or else. Dude,
if you
I ended up
start
talking
a
about what
fight, you
was-
better finish before our ROTC drill sergeant shows up, because he's gonna finish it for you.
Oh, very much so.
Listen, you got 30 seconds to finish it. It like, see, our school was even worse because, our gym teacher was not an ROTC drill sergeant. He was an actual drill sergeant.
Well, ROTC drill sergeants are actual drill sergeants.
Yeah,
You know that, right?
they have training. They
Yeah, I know, but
probably
I
came
mean,
from that.
I mean, like our guy was an actual retired infantry drill sergeant.
Oh, okay, infantry. That's a big difference because
That's
ROTC is Air Force.
Yeah, like
Ah, yes. Chair force.
Yeah, Chair Force.
No one you didn't fuck around and you didn't find out because you knew what the answer was.
That'd be a big true. Yes.
And
And like, here's the thing, right? He didn't like go drill sergeant on the kids, right? You just didn't fuck around and you didn't find out.
Yeah.
There was no reason to.
I had some fucking co-workers when I still worked for the county. That conversation came up. I happened to mention, like, I kind of miss when kids knew better because they knew there was a consequence. And one of the co-workers looks at me, is about my age, like, that's horrible. Why would you want that? I'm like, because we knew responsibility growing up.
Find out.
Because we were taught.
Find out. Fuck around, find out.
Yeah, like, we were taught if you're gonna throw punches, someone's gonna lay you out. Maybe not that day, but very soon.
Americans, so uncivilized.
Yes.
I never saw a single fight through any of my years in school.
And guess what?
was
You
a part of
missed out.
Yeah, you really missed out. I gotta say, there is nothing like running at someone, doing a clothesline, but then using the momentum of the clothesline to spin around them with their neck as a pivot to kick the person next to them legs out from underneath them, and then doing a body drop with their neck still in your arm.
Sounds
Sneaky,
painful for them.
you realize that is banned in wrestling because you can kill a man, right?
Oh, I'm fully aware.
Lariat.
I think that was the intent. I'm really chief. If they don't survive, then too bad.
They were weak.
They weren't meant to.
You
The
gotta
good
break
days.
a couple eggs, Jack.
The good days
Exactly.
when you're allowed to get away with some things.
I got
long
away
as it
with
worked.
so much shit because all I did was nepotism. I just appealed to the people in charge of decisions and made them like me.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Brain. Yeah.
Speech 100.
I mean, I guess
Also,
I stopped doing
one-handed
that
fist
when it
100.
started working. True. Monkey punch.
Also, that's another high school memory I don't think I'll ever forget. Is I blacked out during a fight, not because I got hit, but because my vision went red, and I don't remember the fight. But what I do remember is coming out of that, impacted into a chair so hard it shattered, and the metal pole behind it was bent around my spine. And I turned to the guy who's sitting in the chair next to that one, and he's looking down at me like, what the fuck? And I just look up at him and I go, my day's been pretty shitty so far, how's yours?
Yeah.
Old cafeteria tables. Those stupid fucking stools.
We didn't get stools.
They actually have, so I went
We
back
didn't
to
have
my high school,
cafeterias.
they've actually framed that chair head that my body shattered, because they were like, we have never seen this in the history of our school, that someone impacted a chair so hard it shattered.
Never seen someone with so much Sigma male energy.
Congratulations, Sneaky. You
You
left
are
your mark on the
immortalized.
school.
And then I
Yeah.
just swaggered into the principal's office, and they're like, why did you do it? I'm like, well, he threw my drink away, and they're like, so you just punched him? I'm like, I did a lot more than punch him, but yeah.
Oh, was this the dude that outweighed you by like 80 to 100 pounds?
Oh yeah, no, he was a solid like 400 plus pounds, and like he's got like 4 inches on me, yeah.
Built like a shit brick house.
No, built like one of them good old boys, more like.
Oh. So not quite a shit brick house, but pretty close.
Might as well have been. But apparently, I aimed for his face a lot.
Interesting.
Cause he went to the hospital in an ambulance. I went on with my day, suspended, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just walked into the principal's office and I was like, yeah, I just punched him in the face because he pissed me off. They're like, So he didn't punch you first? No, I got the first blow on him and the second and the third blow. They're like, you're just gonna straight out admit this? I'm like, yeah, he pissed me off. I'm not a morning person.
Understandable.
And the principal just looks at me, he's like, alright. We're gonna have to suspend you for a day. The other kid got a week of suspension.
Yep. Here, kids, we see the difference between action and consequence.
Oh god, those days were good.
It's a good thing that children don't watch us.
I mean,
For a
maybe they
variety
should.
of reasons.
They'd learn something for once.
I mean, my little brother almost found out.
Yeah.
Because he's taking karate classes now, and he's like, he thinks he's entering the period of time where puberty's hitting, and you think you're tough shit. And he's doing those like martial arts classes now. He's like, I got martial arts, and I'm like, I'm top of the world.
Oh
And so
God, that phase where you're like, yes, I know kung fu.
yeah,
I am Neo.
Yeah, and I've been to his classes before.
Yeah.
Those classes are absolute horseshit. Let me tell you, just straight face off. If you're fighting someone who knows how to fight, and you try to use these classes moves on them, your shit's gonna get so fucking rocked, you're gonna end up in another state.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's right there in the name.
Farther than the one you started in.
It's martial arts, not how to fight.
Yeah.
Well,
Martial arts, more like martial farts.
the problem is that most karate classes are taught under rules as a sport, as opposed to when martial arts originally, we're going to refine this into a really good killing style.
Yeah.
And now it's
it's all like you do a karate chop, they do an arm grab, you do a flip, they do a leg sweep. It's like
they go through this. Yeah, they go through the sequences. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which those used to be for training your body to have certain reflexes. Now they're just really pretty.
Yeah.
And they're taught because they don't know why.
He was trying to start shit with me, and I was just like, I caught at his hand, and I'm like, buddy, really think about what you do next, because I am twice your body weight, and very little of that is fat.
All right, Wilson Fisk.
And he paused and was like, oh, right, yeah, that's actually probably a bad idea. Like, yeah.
I mean, listen, that's how I've been reminding my the cousins who are like 15 years younger than me when they think they're hot. I'm like, I would like to remind you that I am twice your body weight, and if I put my arm on your forehead, you can't reach me. Consider that before you try to hit my balls.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah, no, and I put him in a headlock at one point, and he was like trying to punch my kidney. I'm just like, buddy, you're gonna have to put a whole lot more force in that one.
Which isn't it's not quite feasible when you're stuck in a headlock.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially on a little one.
Yeah.
And considering I lift 50-pound dumbbells, I'm pretty sure I could actually bench him. So.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Not looking good for him on his end.
Well,
but,
he's got gumption.
He learned fast, so I'll give him that. And basically, we're just kind of ignoring this. Izuku appears in the middle of a fight, and he's like, oh my god, I'm in the middle of a fight, and everyone's screaming and dying around me. And there's some bone guys killing people, and there's chanting, and then he felt his quirk activate, and he was like resisting the telepathy and mind control the Hive was trying to enforce on him.
That's great. That is not going to stop a thrall from eating you while you're in the thrallway.
Well, yes.
Imagine that.
Blah, blah, blah. So basically, because the Hive member chanted a guardian died, and his quirk let him resist the sword logic of the hive.
No. 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 No.
Yeah.
I just that's not how. Okay, right? If we're being charitable, we will assume that quirks are paracausal, much like sword logic, right?
Sure.
And bomb logic, for that matter.
Yeah.
The most that would let Izuku do is ignore any kind of mental effect the hive might be putting out, which, to be fair, could be quite
Fair
dangerous.
amount. Yeah.
But right, a key thing about bomb logic or about the paracausal entities is the light and the dark were basically playing the game of life, but it kept ending up in one specific direction, and that got boring. So then they decided that they would also play the game of life, and the only rules for them were they could change whatever rules they wanted, but they weren't allowed to go, my rule cancels your rule. That was the only other rule.
Fair enough. It's like a bunch of playground toddlers decided that they can't just invent powers to counter the other person's powers.
Yeah.
Izuku's father was the winnower.
I mean, that would be interesting as all get out, but like they weren't allowed to go, haha, I turned your thing off.
Yeah. I mean, even though that ended up happening later on with the hive magic blocking out the light and whatnot,
But that's kind of different, like, because yes, the hive are technically cheating, but what they're doing is they're just going.
Sabathun. Yes.
That's just sorry. What I was gonna say was that's different because all that's happening there is that one specific thing in one isolated area is turning off.
Yeah.
The light. They're not going, haha, we removed all of your powers.
Yeah.
For everywhere.
Right before her eyes, Eris saw her best friend die as the hive wizard sang a song of death and destruction. Arana 3 and her ghost dissipated. The last remaining guardian of her fire team with her own light and ghost gone. She ran. She had no destination. She was just running. She felt her hand cannon fall from its tethered holster, but she didn't care. It wasn't worth going back for. And in her panic, she thought she saw a young boy dive into a gap in the walls, but that clearly wasn't possible, was it?
I do want to point out.
This opening was cringe.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
I do also want to point out
why this opening chapter garnered 832 favorites. That's
what
like
the hell?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Also, I guess you could do some fun. I guess you might be able to do some fun stuff with the Amhakaras, but like, you couldn't really do that much with them.
You really can't. No.
I'm agree with you,
like,
Chief.
don't get me wrong. They're a fun in-universe thing.
Well, I mean, you gotta keep in mind the other key part here is that supposedly Izuku's quirk prevents mental effects and telepathy, and the Amakaras work specifically through telepathy.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to talk to him.
Yeah, they wouldn't even be able to talk to him unless the author hand waves it as they like overpowered it or he allowed it or something. Or he just said out loud a wish, and they were like, "Oh, we'll take it."
Yeah, you could open all 7 of my chakras, and I still couldn't manifest a singular fuck to give. Honestly.
You could open the last one.
You can.
Yeah. The 8 paths, or whatever the fuck. I don't remember.
Yeah, open that 8th one. Do us a favor.
43 and a half gates.
Yeah, whatever.
Call me a baron and grant me land, yet I still can't grow a single fuck for you.
Yeah. Gaze upon the field where I grow my fucks, and you will find it barren and empty.
Barren. Why the hell is Eris not dead if she heard a song of death? Well, you see, she actually stuck her fingers in her ears.
You said la 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 la.
I literally wish I was kidding, but no, she literally says that. She jammed her fingers in her ears to block out the song of death.
Yes, that makes sense.
And the Amakara have a history of cycling the hive, like top hive gods have a history of getting beaten by Amakahara, and that's partially how Eris escaped. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Anyway,
didn't Eris like become like partially hive or some shit?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that they ever explained that, or if they did, it was probably in some deep lore thing that I definitely didn't pay attention to.
Yeah. Anyway,
Like, listen, there's a whole thing with them, but
boring as shit and stupid. Let me tell you, cannot get over how dumb that was. I don't know why
Yeah.
800 people thought that was good. You know
Probably
what? Let's
just
go
my
look at some
hero.
cringe. Let's go look at some normie cringe. This
And
is some normie cringe. Alright, how the normies doing? Of the ants and boots. Off to a good start. Bruce hadn't told anyone he can turn into the Hulk. Still, Fury hired him to aid in the fight against the so-called God. Just for his scientific expertise, of course. Right. Well, things are not looking good when the trickster God gets a hand on the other guy. What? No. 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 A. They know you're the Hulk, not because you went around telling people, but because you escaped and they have a video camera tracking you, showing you de-transforming into Bruce Banner. Second off, why would the Hulk listen to Loki?
I can keep the other guy locked away so you know that you're out.
I mean, yeah, true, but the Hulk's whole purpose, and specifically the Avengers, mind you, this is specifically the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This is not the comic books. The purpose of the Hulk and the Hulk's main goal in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is to protect Bruce Banner from both himself and everyone else. While saying keeping him locked away might get his interest, then telling him to go get the entire world to constantly fight him might also get his interest, but at the same time, the Hulk is smart enough to not punch his allies that he likes, which means he's capable of recognizing friend and foe, which means he's capable of knowing who to punch, which means he's capable of knowing, maybe I shouldn't punch people.
what the hell did I come back to?
The author is saying that Loki is
Nothing
capable of
interesting.
convincing the Hulk from the MCU to betray the Avengers and kill and or fight everyone.
I mean, that's possible.
Also,
he's shown
that
to make very.
also that Shield doesn't know about the Hulk.
I mean, listen, the Hulk isn't dumb per se.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah.
I know you covered that whole thing, right? But
Yeah.
right, there's an entire arc, Planet Hulk,
Yeah.
right?
Hulk
But
actually leads a country.
When he's theoretically in his, I don't know, infancy, I guess, for want of a better term.
Yeah.
Right? Like, yeah, you could maybe if you made a bunch of illusions of like Captain America and Thor and stuff, and Loki was just standing on the sideline shooting him with magic, you could make him hate them.
Yeah.
But like, maybe you could do that. Maybe, but that would still take a ton of effort because after the fact, you would then have to keep up the illusion And then when Hulk go, you hurt Hulk, me smash, and they start going, wait, what are you talking, right? If they spend enough time going, what the fuck are you talking about, and not hitting him, even Hulk will go, why you no hit Hulk?
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I mean, like even then, it was played for laughs in the original movie, the original Avengers movie, but Hulk only punched Thor. If you notice, of all the people, Hulk only actually ever did real damage to Thor, and that's because he knew Thor could eat that damage.
He threw Black Widow to the side, but that was the extent there.
Yeah.
He threw her as opposed to punching her or crushing her spine like a
smashing something on her.
toothpick.
Yeah. And like it's played for laughs because even later on, Tony goes, "I'm bringing the party to you," and Hulk's laughing and having a good time. And then, Thor is like, "Oh, you did a good job, Hulk," and Hulk's like, "Punch." And it obviously was played for laughs, but at the same time, Hulk only punched him because he knew Thor could take it.
Yep.
So it's
because
like
the other
Hulk's...
guys, he's watching in from behind.
Sure, but like Hulk's not dumb. Like even without drawing on Bruce Banner for intelligence, he's not dumb. He's just simplistic in his thought, but he's not dumb. So it's just a dumb story. Little Girl by Roman Over. I wonder what they read about. What if Natasha recruited a 6-year-old girl? Holy shit. Author, you're gonna really need to rephrase that one. To help her evaluate Tony Stark. Whoa! Holy shit! Author!
Author?
Hey, Sneaky. Did we find the Ghislaine Maxwell to the earlier Epstein guy? Because I think
we might have.
Holy shit, that is... Author, you really gotta think about your wording on this one.
That's almost Tony as bad Stark. As the author. What was the author just recently who said something about grooming the children, and we're like, author,
yes.
no.
Yeah, yes, yeah. I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the name, but I know what you're talking about. To evaluate Tony Stark for the Avengers Initiative. What if that same 6-year-old girl also was involved with the Avengers?
Author, no. Author, please rethink your word choices.
Follow Allie as she becomes part of the Avengers' lives. This takes place through the Marvel Universe. 58 chapters, 132,000 words.
Okay, look, unless this goes like full
113,000.
D&D party, the player characters accidentally adopted an NPC.
55 favorites. Holy
Good
shit.
No, because you know what this means, Sneaky? We found 55 people that need to be removed.
That's fair enough.
Excellent.
Also,
Face the wall.
I would like to say, because it just came to me, so I actually was recently checking on Undying Scarab, and we're not only are we still getting people favoriting that story, well, I say favoriting, but I mean, thumbs upping it and following it and whatnot.
I mean, listen, I'm still surprised that people look at mine and Max's story, which I don't know how they find it.
But what's important is on Space Battles, each chapter has its own like count, which you can basically equivalent to a favorite, a per chapter favorite, effectively. Where, especially in the later chapters, if people are still hitting the like button after the chapter, that's a clear sign of like the first chapter is typically just like, oh yeah, of course everyone's gonna hit the favorite button because they're like, yeah, I like this story. As like a, all-encompassing, and then the rest of the chapters they're just going to read and move on. But no, actually, surprisingly, I've just looked through Undying Scarab, and we got maybe only a 100 like difference between the first chapter and the latest chapter. Which is nearly 900, first off. So that's incredibly impressive for Space Battles. And for a worm story, because generally it starts off with like 800 favorites, likes, and then the next chapter is gonna be like 600 likes, and the next chapter is gonna be like 400 likes, and the next chapter is gonna then it's gonna start averaging around to around 100 to 200 likes. That's the typical arcing. But no, we're kind of staying steady, which is very impressive. Thinking about it, why did Thanos give away the Mind Stone temporarily? I don't know, man. I didn't pay attention until later on shit.
Who cares? Honestly.
Your kills herded out shame because anyone can resist her signature song by putting in earplugs. Yes. Putting in earplugs is the clear counter to the Song of Death.
Yeah, just play something higher.
Yeah, just play something louder. Like polka or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Sakira and Polka. Detonate their minds.
Whoa, this story is good. I need to watch Internals now. Interesting story. Oh my god, this story. I love this story. I love your story. Oh my god, this story. Oh my god, this story. This
Let me
story
say,
is
Eternals
so good. This story is great.
Eternals is an alright movie.
Holy shit, Hannah. I think you need to calm the fuck down or make a goddamn account.
Hannah? There's a page of only Hannah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then white
Does she
skirt
not have an
divergence.
account?
Nope.
No.
That's a guest.
So, yeah, so there's 56 reviews, and half of them are Hannah and Wise Girl Divergence. And these are the expert reviews from Wise Girl Divergence. Moi, love it. Woo, surprise. Moi, love it. Ooh, woo, 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 woo. Those are the expert reviews from Wise Girl Deviancy.
Yeah,
your name concerns me.
Yeah, changed it, but it's probably more accurate, to be honest.
Man, I have reached the stage of alcohol where I can't read letters anymore.
Excellent. I wish I was there. Unfortunately,
I can imagine that.
That's probably a lethal dose for me.
Probably. I will still never stop getting a kick out of when I went to the dentist to get my wisdom teeth removed. And then I didn't fall asleep after they gave me the dose of laughing gas. And they're like, do we just give them more? And so they OD'd me on laughing gas. And then I woke up 3 hours before they thought I would. And they're like,
This man should be dead.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of reasons why Sneaky should be dead. But,
you see,
yeah, that was not one of them.
As long as I carry spite in my heart, I will never die.
Exactly. We already know this.
Love is a promise. This is a spoiler for No Way Home. Something is wrong with MJ. Her thoughts are haunted by strange boy. Her and Ned's memories are filled with gaps. The longer she tries to unravel the mysteries, the more it seems like something is trying to tell her to leave it alone. But she can't. She won't. Okay. Avengers Alternate Reality Part 2. Mere days after the defeat at Loki's hand, the Avengers must assemble that will take them across the galaxy as they form alliances to try and stop an enemy worse than anything they've faced thus far, featuring
Loki
such
was the first thing they faced.
Featuring such characters, shut up. Featuring such characters as Captain America, Iron Man, Loki, and Thanos.
Wait. Does it also feature Spider-Man from Sony's hit Spider-Man movies? Spider-Man, No Way Home, Far From Home, and shit, I ran out of titles.
Spider-Man, fuck off.
No, see, that's Into the Spider-Verse Part 3 when we get back to fat, out of shape, broken up Spider-Man.
Understandable.
I'm just waiting for the AU where Man Spider shows up.
That's happening in the next version of Into the Spider-Verse, which was a fantastic movie.
Anyway, so I'm more questioning is that if they got beat down by Loki, what the fuck do they think they can do to fight someone stronger than Loki? Relapse. Book 3 of the cyclical trilogy. Loki's kids are scattered, and Signir changes that. Chaos ensues. Cringe. Peyton. As You Wish. Peyton never wanted to be a babysitter of the man who just happened to level Manhattan and murder his brother, but things don't work out that way people want. Loki, Thor, and OC main character. The Traitor. S.H.I.E.L.D. has traitors. Naturally, Hydra has traitors. One decided to stop Project Insight at all costs. Winter Soldier, AU, male self-insert OC. Bad habits. Eva runs a bar in New York City, and then Steve Rogers comes into the bar. Watch as their relationship grows from a one-night stand of fucking into bigger things. What happens when Bucky Barnes then walks into the bar 6 months later? I don't know, does he order a fucking drink in Russian?
So first of all, Steve Rogers doesn't do one-night stands. Like,
yeah, but then he went back to the bar, which made it no longer a one-night stand. Duh.
but like, okay, first you have to get over the idea. Like, Steve Rogers would have to get over the idea of having sex with someone he just met.
Sure.
Right? Let's pretend that you can overcome his moral sensibilities of having sex with someone he's not married to.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay. So you overcome that. You still have to overcome the fact that he wouldn't just sleep with someone he doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's very much supposed for people from his time period. Even if you get over the moral hurdles, it is supposed to be a tender, intimate, special thing, not something you go to a bar and get drunk for.
Fair. Fair. Yeah.
That was the thing from back then.
The conceptual deck. The story. Speaking of which, why does Crony pronounce deck as dick?
Canadian.
Because that's what she's really thinking about.
Fair. Is she Canadian?
Yeah, she's Canadian. Similar to Ina, I think. I think she's Korean Canadian. Since she speaks Korean. Yeah.
Is she Ottawa or is she Quebec?
I have no idea. I know Ina is like Vancouver.
Yeah, she's Vancouver, yeah.
Yeah. I think Crony is more central, but I don't know. I haven't gone that deep.
I mean, that's fair. It's just she just pronounces some words really weird. Like Gura was pronouncing Cyndaquil Cyandacle.
I mean, yeah, but like
okay, but I
Pokemon
think that's just
names
Gura
are,
trying to be funny.
A little bit.
That's Gura being Gura.
Yeah.
Because she kept doing it for a little bit, and then she heard Cyndaquil say Cyndaquil, and she's like, "Oh, Cyndaquil."
Yeah. That's just Gura being Gura, not knowing better, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, with Krona, I think it's just like her
Accent.
Yeah, it's
I guess.
her Canadian accent slipping out. You know, maybe not all Leafs are as bad as I thought.
Yeah, some can escape the rake.
You know, some Leafs do escape the rake. You know,
Some will
and it's
become
up to
war
us to make.
crimes.
It's up to us to make sure the right Leafs escape the rake.
Exactly.
Break
For the
the
day
rake.
of rake shall come.
Yep. One day,
Canada, your time is limited.
Canada. One day you will have to answer for your sins, and God may not be so merciful.
Listen, on the day Canada answers for its sins is the day that they become the 51st state.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, I do want
Which
to point out, listen,
might not
some
be as
people-
far off as you think, because the truckers are doing a pretty good job right now.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say, you know, the thing is, people think that like, if we were to take Canada and we'd break it up into a bunch of states. Nah, our government can barely handle 50 states and remain competent.
You know, there used to be
across-
14 colonies.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. My point is, they could right.
Fuck
We're
Quebec.
barely managing to hold on to a semi-functional government with 50 states. Right? We've swapped back and forth between two political parties for what 75 years, and they've both managed to progressively.
Since our founding, honestly, since our founding.
Okay, no, but I'm talking about our current incarnations,
Oh,
the
yeah,
much more
yeah.
heavily politicized incarnations.
I would say around like 75 years, yeah. Maybe
Right?
85, 95.
And they have, through varying degrees of stupidity, naivete, and not understanding economics, continued to drive the country further down the drain. We can't afford to add, like, right? You take Canada, right? You could break that up into like another 40 states, easy. Canada's massive.
Well, no, you wouldn't need to break that massive amount of territory into states. You could just use the provinces that Canada already has and break those into
True.
states.
But even then, like,
Because you got to keep in
province
mind,
is still.
yeah, sure, but you got to keep in mind that Canada's most of Canada is uninhabited, and most of the areas that are inhabited in Canada are along the U.S. border. And it's not even because of, trade and whatnot. It's because Canada's fucking cold. And along the U.S. border is, in fact, actually a belt of warmth. And so that's why a lot of cities are situated there.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a whole thing that lots of Canada is an uninhabitable hell of the frozen variety.
Yeah.
And then there's one that's a rat hell, in that no rats allowed.
True. It's pretty based, honestly.
Indeed. Oh, poor Bay. Wouldn't be able to go there.
I mean, I think she'd live not going to Canada.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. It's only 8:30. That's unfortunate. We have to actually find a story to read.
I mean,
I don't
here,
want it to be
no,
an
you know what?
Avengers
We could just
story.
do some
If you
dumb
want.
theory crafting.
There's
Sneaky,
10 minutes left.
50. What do you mean 8:30?
Look, man,
Numbers,
I
man.
told you like at least 20 minutes ago that I have
No.
actually passed the point where I am no longer capable of successfully reading. There is now a DC check on my reading skill. I'm not succeeding on most of them.
No, Sneaky. Rather than you trying to read, here's a question for you. Would you count? Do you think a
Can you count?
exotic from Destiny
Yeah.
would count as a low-ranked noble phantasm?
I think it depends.
Let's say it's something that's like let's say it's not something like Ace of Spades, right? Let's say it's something like Sleeper Simulant or Galahorn.
I think the main issue is that noble phantasms are determined by the Fate universe, not by the universe they're summoned from.
Mhm.
So, in this hypothetical scenario, either the Destiny universe is the far future of Fate, and therefore
Right.
Guardians dying can end up on the Throne of Heroes, which means
Oh,
they can
Max, your
therefore
static is back.
then be
Jesus
summoned
Christ. Of course it is.
Yeah.
by mages for the Grail War, since the Throne of Heroes exists outside of time and space, which is what allows those souls to be stored there.
Right.
If the exotics summoning future characters is a little bit hard, and it's kind of the reason why they've really refrained from doing so. The only reason why Emiya could get away with being summoned was because all of his powers were relying on internal power.
Well, and he was a counter guardian, which
Well, yes, but you also
He
have to
had a
keep in...
There was a
specific
lot of
contract.
There was a
right,
lot of
but
things
you also have
regarding
to
him, yeah.
Yeah, you also have to keep in mind that he wasn't reliant on outside belief to give him noble phantasms. All his noble phantasms, quote unquote,
yeah.
were internal. And so he didn't need someone to know about the legend of Galahorn for him to have Galahorn have any special effects. And it's
Right.
the whole like you're in the future and there's legends surrounding XYZ, and then you die and the Throne of Heroes records you, and then you get summoned into the past. There's no real precedent in the Fate verse when it comes to that, besides Emiya, who is a obviously blatant special case, and you can't really
Yeah.
use him as a basis.
Yep.
As far as the exotics themselves would go, if there was an exotic with a story of its own or an internal power like the Whispering Worm, I would say possibly they could end up as noble phantasms. But again, it would require a lot of hand waving and hand wringing and a lot of like and I guess
Yeah, I would say going by that, then there would be maybe 5 or 6 that would qualify. Which, hilariously enough, one of them would be the Mida multi-tool, because the lore on the Mida multi-tool is fucking whack.
If a guardian was going to have noble phantasms, and let's be clear here, is this the Fate version noble phantasms, not the canon, not the fanon version of noble phantasms. Noble phantasms are any power.
What's the difference?
So fanon noble phantasms are weapons. Canon noble phantasms are any power that the servant has access to.
Right. Yes. Okay. Yep.
So quote, any power that is not within the normal realms of what the servant has access to. So like Andromeda Fortress is not something typically Medusa could set up, but because of her legend, she has access to what is called Andromeda Fortress, and she can set it up. So,
right.
That's normally
Iskandar did not have the
repertoire.
ability to create a reality, to create a bubble that just killed everything.
Right.
But that's something he gets because of his legend.
Right. And so, based off of that definition of what a noble phantasm is, a guardian being summoned in as a divine servant would more than likely have a noble phantasm relating to their semi-immortality state, probably something along the lines of being able to revive like once a day or something, or once a week or something like that. That would be a noble phantasm for them, because that's common knowledge.
And I was gonna say, whatever their super is would be a noble phantasm.
Right, that too. Well, no, then again, that could also be just qualified as solar magic or something like that. That would just be a skill listed for them. That wouldn't be so much as maybe if they had a unique ultimate, so a non-canon ultimate where
Right.
they
But if
created
it's just a guardian popping out, if it's just a hunter popping out golden gun or arc staff, or a warlock putting down or a titan putting down the bubble or something, that's just a skill.
Yeah, that would just be a skill under whatever respective, like guardian magic or whatever have you. And other noble phantasms for guardians specifically would be more along the lines of like sort of like Lancelot, where anything that a guardian touches is their noble phantasm. Because guardians would have a long established history of making anything into a weapon, including enemies.
Yep.
So they would definitely have a Lancelot-like noble phantasm. Along those same lines, it's possible they might also have a noble phantasm of the mythical backpack, containing all of the possible weapons they might have. And this would be
that would piss Gilgamesh off.
Yeah, this would be more along the lines of maybe not that specific Guardian's inventory when they died, but more along the lines of the
Guardian had access to it. Therefore,
right.
This is the this is the conceptual Guardian's backpack.
Right, like the Guardians were seen with Gjalhorn, Guardians were seen with the Whisper, Guardians were seen with the Midas multi-tool, and so Guardians just had this in their backpack, and a Guardian being summoned. If it wasn't a specific Guardian, if it was a generic OC Guardian, it could be feasible that you could just be like, oh yeah, they just had this in their backpack. Maybe they personally had never acquired that weapon, but because it was known that Guardians just had these weapons, they now have that as part of their noble phantasm in their backpack.
Right.
Other such things, which, by the way, if you can't tell by the fact that I'm getting progressively more coherent, I'm now sobering up, despite the fact that I've just had 4 shots of 140 proof whiskey.
Yeah, we know.
Congrats.
All I know. Here's the thing: the fastest way to sober you up is to get you analytical.
Yeah, I know, right? Other fast talking things like that. Yeah. Other things that Guardians would have noble phantasms for.
Ghost, possibly. I mean, we know that sometimes familiars get dragged along as part of a noble phantasm.
I would say that wouldn't be a noble phantasm per se. I'd say that would just be more of a familiar. I would say Guardians would most likely be restricted to caster class, or I wouldn't even call it archer, maybe. Yeah, caster and archer. Saber, I wouldn't really say so, because Guardians typically are never depicted using the sword. While it is a item that can be used by Guardians, canonically it's not really something that is known for Guardians to use.
Yeah, I was gonna say you might get, possibly if the one being summoned was an Iron Lord, possibly, but that would be the only exception. Right,
yeah.
Because there were some of the Iron
off
Lords
limits. Assassin, maybe, but it's really unlikely because of the common perception of Guardians. You have your very dutiful Guardians and you have your Cade-like Guardians, and neither Guardian are known as subtle. And more often than not, a subtle Guardian is never talked about because of how over the top and extra the rest of them are. So that
you're not going to hear about you're not going to hear about the Guardian who was quietly killing Hive on Titan because did you hear that Cade 6 just killed an entire prison?
Or did you hear that band of 6 Guardians just backwards dabbed on the Taken King?
And then did you hear they made him into a sword?
Yeah, right. Or a shotgun. Or something. I feel. Was it a sword? I thought it was a rifle.
Or no, they made him into a rifle. They made his sword into a slightly less cool but still terrifying sword.
Yeah. And stuff like that. Noble phantasms. What other noble phantasms could possibly for Guardians?
I think that would pretty much cover it. The big thing would be immortality.
Yeah.
Right. And if you're not considering if you were to
Battle,
consider
obviously battle continuation, some sort of like noble phantasm tier of battle continuation. And even
Depending
maybe just
upon the
having the skill
level.
on top of that.
I was gonna say whatever the skill. Isn't there a skill for like rapid healing or rapid regeneration or something?
Yeah, but that's more
Should
as
be.
in like literal rapid regeneration, as in like regrowing arms and shit. Whereas
Mhm.
Guardians really didn't do that. They typically just died from losing an arm, and then they were just brought back by
Yeah.
their ghost.
Yeah.
So it would be more in line with like not quite, but similar to Hercules 9 Lives.
Yeah.
But honestly, overall, there wouldn't be that many noble phantasms for the Guardians, unless you summon like a specific one. Like Cade might have like some sort of special noble phantasm of like rally the troops or some stupid shit, where he's like,
No, that would probably just manifest as like charisma B or something.
yeah, but at the same time, both him and Zavala were like the faces of the Guardians, and wherever they went and did stuff, Guardians were sure to follow. And you could feasibly interpret that into a noble phantasm where both Zavala and Cade would be able to summon some sort of like cadre of Guardians, even if it's just temporarily. Sort of like how Iskander was able to summon an army temporarily.
Yeah, I was gonna say it would probably right for Cade and Zavala, it would probably just be assemble fire team and then insert a random fire team name here.
For Zavala, it would probably be fire team, but for Cade, it would probably have to fit more in his theme of like not even dramatic entrance, but sort of like a wrong time, wrong place could be like the name of it. And it's like if Cade is in a building doing something possibly illegal or recreational activity, and an enemy comes into that building, Cade is capable of convincing the entire building to make that person their enemy.
Yeah.
Or something like that, where it's like, oh, you like, sort of like the idea of like someone kicking in a door and then everyone pulling a gun on the guy and shooting him.
Right.
Whereas Zavala would just
I
be
guess
more
technically,
of the flavor
I
of...
guess you could technically make an argument that Ikora might end up summoned as Berserker, just because of what she did, just because of her Crucible legend.
That's true, yeah, it's possible. Like, but that's getting into the specifics.
Yeah,
like,
I would just say that's getting into specific ones. If it's just the random Guardians,
non-OC Guardians would have a bit more specific classes to them. Like, Eris Morn couldn't be summoned under anything besides Caster.
Absolutely. I would just say, despite her being a hunter, absolutely nothing but Caster.
Nothing but Caster, yeah. But at the same time, if you're gonna go with generic OC Guardian, you really don't have that many options besides Archer or Caster.
They did get swords in Destiny 2, but
yeah, well, like
we
you said, we covered that whole thing.
Yeah.
They did use swords, but Guardians were generally using they were generally using guns.
Yeah.
And like perhaps if it was one of the Iron Lords, you might have them showing up as Saber, but like Saber or Lancer, maybe. Certainly none of them would ever show up as Assassin.
No, definitely not Lancer. Definitely not Lancer. I would say of all the classes,
could they be a Rider?
Rider is one of those really iffy ones.
If they did, it would certainly be their weakest form.
Yeah, it would definitely be one of their weakest forms. Like Saber, funnily enough, Saber and Rider would be their weakest forms, despite those classes typically having the higher stats. If only because Saber, they really didn't use swords. They were a thing. Some people used them. They were mostly symbolic, because more often than not, despite what I did during dungeons, where I just ran around with a sword fucking one-shotting everything in dungeons because I was speedrunning them, they really weren't used typically. You typically were expected to shoot everything, and that's
I would
just
say
typically
most of the
everyone did.
most of the time, the only reason people bring a dungeon on a run of any kind is for like backwards long jumping shenanigans.
Yeah.
If you're looking, if a guardian shows up looking to kill a boss, they're showing up with a Gallahorn or a sleeper simulant
Yeah.
or a Telesto.
Just imagine a boss looking at a guardian backwards long jump through every single wall he has, and just questioning
I'm
his
sorry,
life
Sneaky. I'm
choices.
just imagining a guardian showing up, and they see Gilgamesh's big flying fancy spaceship, pulls out sleeper simulant. Let's see how this goes.
Now, all my brain can imagine is, Gilgamesh shows up, he's flying his fucking spaceship ass, whatever the fuck that is. And Cade is just sitting there as Archer, and he looks up and he's just like, reloads revolver, dibs on the spaceship.
Dibs in the spaceship.
I call dibs.
I call dibs. That's how that works. Everyone knows the rules of dibs.
It's mine now.
Would definitely be part of Cade's specific lore.
After all, everyone knows that Julius Caesar walked in the Senate one day and called dibs. That's why he became emperor.
Yeah, of course, obviously. But yeah, no. Honestly, though, overall, Guardians would be fairly weak. If only because specific Guardians would only really be known among Guardians. Like Zavala, Cade, and the Iron Lords, I guess you could say, were like the big names among non-Guardians.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Ikora would be super big too, only because like they don't. Shax, because like they don't really like
Shax,
talk about this in the lore,
Iron
but
Lords,
like at some point I forget what during the lore they were like, hey, so the Crucible is literally just televised to the last city.
Oh yeah.
So like Ikora, Shax, honestly, they would actually have the best chance.
Actually, you know what? The Drifter would be Assassin.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like overall, Guardians would be fairly weak in terms of stats, and in terms of just one-to-one lineups. Guardians' powers were their ability to resurrect and their numbers.
And the fact that most of the things they fought could eventually be killed with enough bullets.
Well, enough bullets and enough bodies, and it just so happened that those bodies could get back up after a while.
Yeah.
So, honestly, in terms of stats, they would be fairly low. Honestly, E rank stats in pretty much everything but luck. Luck would be like A rank.
Yeah.
A plus rank, maybe.
I think you could argue that depending on whatever their main class is, like, if it's a hunter, their agility gets bumped up to like, what is it? How does it? Is it E, F, C, D?
It goes like alphabet style.
E and then it goes up.
Yeah, it starts at E and goes up all the way to A, and then there's S and then EX.
Right. Yeah, I was gonna say like you could put in the argument that for whatever their main is, that's not an E, right? Like warlocks get one up on int, titans get one up on strength, hunters get one up on dex, but only like one rank.
Maybe. I think honestly, actually, though, warlocks would have it best, as they would definitely be like A rank magic because, warlocks in general were like people that really delved really fucking deep into the magic systems and forbidden knowledge and just generally shit that if I fuck up channeling this, I might accidentally black hole us all. So it was a little bit deep and a little bit serious, and they had access to quite the magic pool, considering that casually throwing around a black hole was considered not that big of a deal to a warlock.
Yeah. What's that? You made a pillar the size of a person out of electricity? Cool. You've done what all of the rest of us have done. Come back when you do something interesting.
Watch as I summon a black hole and throw it at you. Yes, I am ignoring physics. Eat shit.
What are physics? He said, throwing a black hole.
Meanwhile, listen, as I am a hunter main, as much as I love hunters, right? Meanwhile, with hunters and titan, it's like, haha, look at my funny bow, or with a titan, haha, I have glowy shield. Right? Don't get me wrong.
Oh, a hammer.
Yeah, I throw hammer, I throw shield. Guardian, haha, gold shiny light go pew, right? Listen, those are fun. Those are, aesthetically speaking, way cooler. Nowhere near as powerful.
I can just straight up see it. It's like Master Chief voice, Titan, I will protect you. And then it's like Arbiter voice, Hunter, I will shoot you. Warlock voice in the voice of the grave mind. I am a monument to all your sins. The rules of reality bow to me.
What? The other two turn to him. Are you okay? Do you need a hug, buddy?
Watch.
Well, I mean, hugging the grave mind would be a very bad decision.
For my methods.
Hunter and Titan in the background. Ah, shit, dude, did he go off his meds again?
It's like Hunter sees Warlock throw sun at someone, looks at gun slightly glowing, and it's glowing bullets, and he's like, oh. Titan looks at his glowing sword. Ooh.
Glowing hammer, they don't even get swords.
Right,
the warlocks get the glowing swords, actually.
Yeah, it's just like, Warlock throws a fucking sun at someone.
I'm gonna be real. A warlock being summoned as a saber would be very confusing in a Grail War.
Well,
That'd
actually,
be so funny.
it would actually be terrifying because the Warlock can teleport.
Oh yeah.
I know. They're like, oh, okay, he could tell, and that's black hole. Okay, great.
No,
So he
specifically the sword that the Warlock summon, it replaces the black hole ability. But straight up, it's just like, but he's a saber. Teleports behind you, stabs you with the black hole crafted into a sword. Nothing personnel, kid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
a Magic Knight would actually be a fucking problem because we technically see a bit of that with Artoria. Like, with the invisible air,
just
they're
the ability.
like, okay, that's not good.
Literally just the ability to make her sword invisible, and all the other classes were like, this is a pain in my ass.
Now you got some jackass teleporting around with a sword.
Straight up, just like this dude in this weird ass sci-fi armor, and everyone's like, what fucking class are you? Finally, someone steps to him, and he's just like, ignite sword crafted out of black hole, teleports. It's like, oh shit.
I should go. Have a nice day. I'm gonna hope that Berserker beats your face in.
I don't think I want this fight. Also, Crisis 4, huh?
Are they really?
Yeah.
Orange just linked something in gaming.
Yeah,
I don't.
Released. Well, the announcement trailer was dropped 2 days ago, I think.
I can't say that I care.
Yeah, I
But
don't.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
just feel my graphics card melting already.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
as far as
Mm.
quote unquote story goes, I think they wrapped it just fine in 3.
dude, I don't even fucking remember the story of Crisis.
literally,
Nobody
I
remembers
do
the
not know
story of 3.
anyone besides you, Max.
Yeah, no
cared
one
about the
remembers the story of
Crisis
Oh.
existed for one reason and one reason only, and it was a
No.
graphics card dick measuring contest.
No, Crisis 2 was
Yeah.
actually really good.
Yeah, but no one remembers Crisis 2.
Do I even have
Okay,
Crisis?
so that's one of 3 no's.
Crisis
so
1.
anyway,
Here's
I
the-
think this is
I
a
don't
good
remember
part
much
to cover
about
it
them,
up,
though.
close
I
it
told
out,
Sneaky, I turned my brain
say
off playing those
goodbye,
games.
sign off. I'm gonna go eat dinner. I'll see you
I,
all
too, must
next
go
time
consume
on
dinner.
Tuesday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Be there, be a square, drink your liquids, and remember, there's always more. It always gets worse.